When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ledlow, and enjoy today's episode. Hello, everybody. This is Mark Ledlow with the Fearless Mindset Podcast, and today I was lucky enough to bring on Jeff Olan. Jeff Olan Casting from Los Angeles. He's been a good friend of mine for I don't know how many years. We met at I met him at a party and I was doing bodyguard work, and the rest is history. We'll say that. And thanks, Jeff, for sharing your time with me and the viewers at the podcast. And we joke around before we even clicked record. We were laughing and joking and talking locker room talk.
A lot of locker room talk. Yes. No, thank you, Mark, for having me. I appreciate it, and congratulations with the show.
Yeah. Being that you're entertainment, you give me some advice already on what I'm doing, and I love advice and constructive criticism to make me better at just sharing information with people during this whole COVID-19. And it's like having to pivot. And you and I were talking earlier about, I don't know, a couple of months ago, how COVID-19 has affected the business and safety and security standpoint. And it's made you work more just to produce and get people out there to work.
Yeah, I mean, so true. I mean, this COVID-19 has reshaped the world. It's reshaped the industry. It's reshaped our lives in more ways than any of us, care to think about. But in that happening, you have to do everything you can to make sure that you stay focused and stay aware of what you're going to be doing, and to reshape not only where you're going to go in the future, but how you're going to go into the future and how you're going to do things. And in the industry that I'm in, I'm a casting director, as you know, and producer. There's a lot of reshaping. There's a lot of different protocols that we have to now go by, and there's a lot of security. Different security aspects, people getting on the sets. It takes a little bit longer. It's not going to happen all that much. Somebody like myself, I'm a casting director. I'm an essential part of the industry, but I don't have to be on the set. And they're not going to have me on the set, and they're not going to have various other departments on the set if they don't have to, security-wise, COVID-19-wise, everything. A lot more is being done, through Zoom and Skype and through telephone calls and what have you than ever before. And that's the way it's going to be, at least for a while. I'm looking at probably another year that before we're going to get back to any more normalcy. And right now we just have to adhere to what's going on and reshape our thinking in order to do things, the new way.
And 9/11 hit us, and I can remember the days before 9/11, going to the airport. I was with whatever girlfriend I had at the time, and giving the hug and the kiss, going through security. Oh, well, there was no security. You just went through the airport and got your bench, and you did all the the makeout session or whatever, military stuff. You're all passionate, and then all of a sudden 9/11 hit, and just it all changed.
Yeah.
And now you got to go through screens and TSA and all that, and same thing with COVID-19 and with entertainment.
Oh, it's horrible. And you talk about the dating thing. Not only the dating thing nowadays. I mean, it's like it's few and far between. But also, how about talking about like love scenes on the sets and movies and TV sets? I mean, listen, you can't wear the mask all the time, but you have to. And then we have to, it takes us almost twice as long. I think this was what you were getting at, and you and I had this conversation a while ago. It takes really twice as long just about to get people to the set now, because we have to send them a day prior or a couple of days prior to get tested for COVID, unless they do the rapid test, and they do that too. But they do both. We have to send people prior. They have to be tested. If they don't pass that, then we have to send other people. And, a lot of us in the industry, we don't get paid by the hour. we get paid by work and the work we do. And so therefore we're doing a lot of things. We're going through a lot of different cycles and jumping through a lot of different hoops right now just to get it right. A lot at our own time, because we want to do it right, and we want to make sure that everybody is safe going to the sets. We want to make sure that all the actors are safe on the set. We want to make sure the crew's safe. Everybody needs to be safe, so we have to send people out for tests. They have to pass, then they come back. Some people are being kept in bubbles on sets, so that's of course again where a lot of security issues come up too.
Now, here's a question. When you're doing those protocol precautions, are you able to bill production XYZ company, whoever you work for your hours, or is that on your time? What does that look like?
Everything's different now. It's a new world. And so some production companies will work with us, maybe pay us a little bit more, maybe a stipend to do what we're doing because we're doing more work. There's other companies that, no, that's on your own.
Wow.
We're going to hire you for your services, and that's going to be part of your service. And that doesn't change from the way when we were hired prior to March 9th or March 12th, when most of this started happening in my head. We were hired. It was one price, and that was it. And we were hired, and they got our service, and that service, it had a lot. We had a lot under the umbrella as a service. Now it's kind of the same thing. I'm not going to say no to somebody if they're not going to pay me a certain price to take care of things for them, because I want the jobs. I want to be able to work. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about the industry. I want to put people out there. And so I'm going to continue doing what I do. Granted, hopefully there's more producers who have the money, who will understand more and more of what we go through, and that it does take longer to get people out there. It does take longer to cast. It's a whole different beast now. But we've got some people that can pay it, and then we certainly have a lot of people that cannot pay it. They're having a hard time just keeping up with the new protocols and the new what it's even costing them financially to do this, because the tests alone are costing an arm and a leg. So that goes into the budget now, and how you do it, and if you're putting people up in hotels, or if you're putting them into you're having them stay for a while, or you're testing every other day, or you're paying more for this, you're paying more for that. Now it's all packaged food for the most part for craft service. Now anything with lunches and dinners being served, somebody is serving you. You are not taking food anymore. You are not going to the salad bar and taking as much salad as you want. Somebody is giving you that food. Good or bad, that's the way it is in the new norm.
I remember back in the day when I was actually doing background work, military stuff. I remember going on a set, be like 100 people. We'd be working like CSI Miami. That's where I got my SAG-AFTRA card. And I remember there'd be like 100 people. Now it's just like people in the LA area that are SAG-AFTRA, and they're background actors or actresses, or you just called actors now, no more actresses.
Background actors or actors. Yeah, I mean, if they're actors, yeah.
So now those guys that were doing background work as union workers, that workload is going to be 90% less than what it was before. What do you think on that, on those terms?
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing and what I believe is going to happen, at least for the next year, they're cutting quite a bit. So, okay. Such as the show that I was doing for 16 seasons, Grey's Anatomy.
Right.
They would have 100 people on the set. Now it's cut down to 50, and it's 50 or less a day, and they're basically keeping those same 50 kind of in a pod, and saying, hey, we're going to work you. we're going to test you every other day. We're going to work you on whatever days. And then we're going to probably, we're going to pay you on the days that you can't even come in. That's one show. Every show's doing it differently. A show that might have, like you said, maybe it's a big police scene, and there was going to be 100 rioters and 50 police. That's going to be cut down. That's going to be 25 police, probably, give or take. Maybe 40 rioters, 50 rioters. They're not going to have as many people on the set now. Again, that's a security issue. That's a COVID-19 issue. Also, working outside, you got to have that controlled, set. And that's where, again, security comes into play, because you have to have people. You have to have a lot of security that's around that set, that's kind of keeping it and keeping an eye on the set and keeping an eye on the cast, the crew, and anybody that's coming in from the outside. You've got to watch everybody. So yeah, I think they're going to be cutting it down. Now, I am a big proponent of just working people and getting people out there on the set and placing them. But I think non-union extras for a while are going to be the ones that are going to be taking the big hit here. Because the union will be placed first. And if you're placing, if you're placing 25 union on that set for the day, that might be it. And you're not going to have any non-union coming on the set. And,
wow. That's a big
Mark,
shift.
Yeah, Mark, I think you know this, but, feature films, top-line feature films, they have a certain amount of union that they put out on sets, and non-union as well. Non-union's wide open, but a certain amount of union they put out on sets. For a TV show, the same thing. So that's a deal that the producers made with the union. Once they put those union people on the set, the numbers are going to be cut, obviously, on every show that we do. And therefore, a lot of non-union are not going to be, running to as many sets as they were prior to COVID.
So the workload for non-union is not going to be like it used to be. And then if you're a SAG-AFTRA now, you're going to probably have work down the road. It's just a matter of when they get the protocol stuff worked out. Yeah.
And I think the SAG actors, the principal actor, let's start just the principal actors alone. Some of them are not ready to go back to sets yet. Some of them are still pretty scared.
Oh, interesting.
So some of them are not ready to go back. There's others that are, and then there's others that, of course, are going on with, third, fifth, eighth seasons, and they're contracted to go back. Some are going back to movies. Some are not going to travel around the world right now because they're not going to feel comfortable. So that's the principles. Now, as far as the extras or background actors, as we call them, whether it's here in Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago, New Mexico, Hawaii, they will be limited. That goes for SAG and non-union. They will be limited right now, but I think by early 2021, a lot of the shows will be back up, as all the unions have now signed with the producers and everybody. They know what the protocols are now, and so now I think they're going to kick it into high gear, where they're going to have many more opportunities for sets to have that protocol in place, and sets will be able to start, we'll start really be able to make movies and television again the way it was. And I do believe that summertime 2021, or at the end of 2021 for sure, we're going to have, providing we don't go backwards, we're going to have a lot of productions going on and an awful lot of sets happening and a lot of people working, because after all, like, we were talking earlier, entertainment it's so important to everybody. Whether you're watching something on television, watching the news, listening to radios, listening to podcasts, watching a movie, watching a TV show, it's important to everybody, and everybody gets something out of it. And how many times do we hear, people watch a movie and they, you'll hear them later on, they'll be reciting lines from that movie that have hit their heart that they literally hold throughout a lifetime. So it's very important to keep the entertainment business alive.
Yeah, it reunites that human spirit and just brings that courage and that fight, and it's part of American culture.
That's right.
It's part of our identity. Entertainment in Hollywood, just people from overseas and third world countries, they have the TV on and they're watching American-made content.
That's exactly it. And we couldn't be more, blessed. I'm very grateful for having Jeff Olan Casting and all the years I've been in the business, and the movies and television shows that I've been associated with, and the people I've worked with. So we just have to keep going, and we will all get through. We will all get through this, no matter what industry we're in. We'll get through this. It's part of life.
It's a season we're going through, and the season will come to an end, and a new season will start. And it sounds like 2021 is like when they're going to be issuing permits and stuff in California, LA area for the shoots and setting up the sets.
Yeah, and I think, more and more as time goes on, more and more sets, more and more permits will be issued. That's in, the Los Angeles area. Atlanta has it a little bit different. They're shooting there quite a bit more now. New York.
Oh, are they?
Yes, New York shooting more now.
Okay.
But Los Angeles will catch up. It just took us a little longer. And we will catch up. And I do believe that there's going to be a lot of good things that will happen, in the industry here and all around the country. Because, Mark, as you know, Hollywood is not Hollywood. It's still Hollywood, but it's not the Hollywood it used to be.
Oh, yeah, of course.
There's production all over the country, all over the world now.
Right.
There's different hubs.
Now, you just telling me a minute ago, you showed me a stack of papers that you had for shows coming up in 2021.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So you guys are in the entertainment business. There you go. There's a stack of paper right there that Jeff has.
These are shows, lists of shows, movies, who's doing them. Yeah.
And so your forecast for business is definitely going to skyrocket in 2021 first quarter.
We can only hope. Only hope. Anybody who's in this business or any business that has been uprooted from COVID, my best advice would be to, continue going on, focus on where you want to be, put it out there into the universe. And, none of us know 100% what's going to happen, let alone a month or 2 months or 5 months from now, let alone tomorrow. But we have to put it out there. We have to, we have to feel that it's going to happen and really, really believe in it. And in the meantime, just do whatever you can. The smallest little thing helps. Do whatever you can to, to promote yourself, to promote your business, to get word out. Go on podcasts, say hello to different people, talk to people at the grocery store, even with your mask on. You just never know where that's going to lead to, and who might just be looking for your business. You just don't know who's looking for your business and who might want to be able to, lend a helping hand.
Now, most of these actors or the principals, role players, they have their own businesses within the production studio? Are they on payroll? Are they 1099? Or are they their own company? How does that look in that business?
I think it's a little different for each of them. I don't think too many of them have their own offices on lot anymore. Some do, but the only ones that do would be the ones that were, like because Mark, you were in his movie, but like Clint Eastwood, you take someone like Clint. Clint also has a big production company, so he has his offices on a lot. And so, but he's also an actor. But there's not as many. I don't think there's a lot who have their offices there. There might be some nowadays because of COVID who want to have their place or office or an apartment somewhere on a lot. Maybe it makes it easier for them. But I think there's a lot more than we know that they have production offices all over California. They're actual, brick and mortar offices. But then a lot are also from people's homes. And nowadays, I think more and more it's from a home because you can work from home. You can work from, your home or your garage or a pleasant place to do your business nowadays.
Yeah, makes sense for working remotely. Why do you need to pay office space for a studio when you can do it from the house? Right. I know I was down at Clint Eastwood's ranch down there in Monterey. And I think one of his workers told me that he actually produced and recorded the music for American Sniper at his ranch or a resort that he has there in Monterey. And I was like, whoa, the guy's a genius.
It's unbelievable. And, I like how you said his resort. Yeah. Shouldn't we all have that? We should all have a resort. We should all have a resort next to our offices or our house.
I kid you not, I was down there. And I was in the parking lot, and he had a restaurant and the bar there. And then some guy parks his car, older guy parks his car. He had some shorts on, and he's really wiry looking, about 6'2", 6'3". Gets out of his car, and he starts walking towards me. And I'm like, oh, he must be getting his afternoon drink. And he comes right by me, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, Clint, how you doing, sir? I call him Mr. Eastwood out of respect. And he goes, good. And he looked at me, goes, do I know you? I'm like, American Sniper? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember you. And he said, how you doing? I'm like, I'm enjoying your resort, and I'm enjoying just the beautiful view of the beach and everything else. And his words were, well, enjoy it. You only live once. I'm going to go have myself a drink there, youngster. See ya. Yeah.
And when you
make my day.
Yeah. And you wanted to hear him say, I'm going to go have myself a drink, youngster. Come with me.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta give him credit, and you have to give all these other entertainers credit, especially during this whole last 6 months that a lot of us have been indoors. There are so many people, Mark, just like you mentioned Clint was doing, so many people that have been working from their home, like I said, from their garage, from their basements, that have been creating content, whether it be for, future movies, television shows, writers, producers, all kinds of different people. They've been, look at the talk show hosts, from Jimmy Kimmel to Conan and Brian and everybody in between. They've been doing things from their home. So you got to give people like that credit. Maybe they didn't know all the technical things at that point in time when they started. And yes, some of them had people helping them, but they certainly know it now. And you can do a lot. You can do a lot from home. You could, you could easily, do some great content from home, which we've seen, and we've seen it on a lot of different platforms.
Wild. And who would have known that you'd have social media, Twitter, Facebook, who else am I forgetting? Instagram. Twitter, and now you can rush video clips and all that, and everybody lives on their phone anyway, and you have 3 different platforms on your phone. It's just how they keep up. But, I mean, that's how the Kardashians blew up. I mean, if it wasn't for social media, the Kardashians probably wouldn't be anything.
They'd just be the cars.
Yeah.
Not exactly. The Kardashians.
Kardashians.
Yeah. The Kardashians. Yeah.
Did I say Kardashians? Oh, Kardashians.
Yeah,
sorry about that.
Yeah. But no, you're right. They wouldn't blow up. And nowadays, overnight, we could have a sensation, a star that comes at us because of social media. And some of these youngsters of today, I could say youngster because I'm not there anymore. Some of these youngsters of today, they have millions of followers on their Instagram or their Twitter account or TikTok or whatever these, all these accounts are. And they have millions of followers, and all they need to do is one thing that all of a sudden all these millions of followers watch them, and it goes crazy, and it's out there, and it's out there forever. And these people, they could create all kinds of content, and they could put things out there that sometimes it would take, Hollywood 6 months to do. And there these social media giants, the ones that are on and know how to do it, are just doing a fabulous job.
It's interesting you bring that up, that I was talking to somebody on the ground. I think I was working in entertainment in LA when I was down there. And someone said that they had an interview with the manager, and the first thing they asked him was, how many viewers you have on Facebook or Instagram. Are you hearing that a lot of the talent managers and agents are now testing to see what the viewership and how many people have, these actors following them before they book them on things now? Is that what's kind of happening?
It is happening. It's happening in some circles. I'm not going to say it's wide across the industry, but
okay.
There are definitely a lot of people out there that are looking at talent a little differently, and exactly what you said. People are coming in for various roles, or maybe it's a reality show or what have you. And yeah, they're looking at their Instagram. They're doing their homework. Number one, they're doing it for a few different reasons. Number one, they're doing it, they want to see who these people are. They want to see what kind of people are following them. And they also want to, make sure that these people have, A's and B's, that they are doing things right, that they're not doing things wrong, that they're good people. And then you look at the numbers that some of these people have, and they have followers like we talked about in the millions. And when you put someone like that into a movie or into a TV show, your audience has already grown without having your movie or TV show even out there yet. So yeah, there's a lot of agents that are now taking on talent that has, hundreds of thousands to millions of followers. And, anybody and everybody could do it, but you have to have something to offer. And my biggest advice to anybody out there who's trying to get into the industry, go for the acting and take those classes. Make sure, and this is advice my mother gave me too, make sure you can sing, make sure you can dance, make sure you have all the talents at your fingertips that you can, and that's going to help you in the future too. So if you don't have the followers from an Instagram or a Twitter, at least you have more talent, and the more talent you have, the more likely that the agents and producers and directors will be looking at you.
Wow, good advice. Trying to break in that business.
Yeah.
Great advice. I'll take it from there to, I know you just produced a movie.
Yeah.
And you're excited about that. You backed it. It's been a big project of yours, and it's finally went official. I saw it somewhere. Tell us about your new movie, and are you going to go in more production of movies and more content? Is that kind of what you're looking at?
Yeah, I've dabbled in producing, dabbled in a lot of different things. I've been a casting director for about 28 years. I did radio. I did WJOB in Hammond, Indiana. I did K-Earth radio out here in Los Angeles. And I've gotten into producing. I produced a TV series called Caught in the Act some years ago, and I've been producing just a little bit, like I said, dabbled in it because I've been casting so long from Pulp Fiction to Grey's Anatomy and everything in between. So I've been pretty busy, but I did a movie called Holy Hollywood some years ago with Mickey Rooney. And now I just finished, and thank you for mentioning it. I just finished a movie called The Deep Ones, and it's a horror sci-fi, and you can look it up online, The Deep Ones, and it's an H.P. Lovecraft film, and we've just been accepted into 6 different festivals around the world right now.
Holy
so we're
cow.
very excited about that. Some of
Awesome.
the biggest horror and sci-fi film festivals around. So really fills my heart with joy on that. And I produced that with director Chad Farron, who wrote it and directed it, and Chad has done an awful lot himself. And I will more than likely do more with Chad and some more with other people. I'm looking at another script to do. I just actually finished it yesterday. I'm very excited about it. It's a great script. And I'll dabble in it, and I'll do some more. Yeah, I'll do some more producing. And I've got something on my own that that I'm creating, and I think Mark, you know about it, but that's the billboard story.
Oh yeah, the billboard story. Yeah, that was fun for you. How many months were you up there?
Well, just for your audience, when I first came out to Hollywood 18 years ago, I lived on a billboard on Sunset and Sweetser, and Sunset is known for its billboards. And there's billboards up there from every product you can imagine, and they're huge billboards. And I participated in a contest, and I lived on a billboard on Sunset and Sweetser it was part of a contest. Who could stay up there the longest? So I didn't just stay for a month or 2 months or 3 months. Kind of crazy, but I lived up there for 6 months on the billboard. And it's been so many years now, and I've gotten a lot of PR on it, a lot of shows that I've done, a lot of interviews, and I've been putting it together. We've been putting it together. My team and I, we've been putting it together now for a little bit, but it has accelerated over the last 6 months, and we'll have it out there soon. And I'll be happy to come back and tell you about it when that all happens. But doing that, and I'm writing a book, and just got to put it out there. Got to do as much as you can. As you said, Mark, we only get this one chance. It's live your life and live it the best you can.
What I call is overcome and adapt, as we say in the military, or pivot, as Tony Robbins calls it, pivoting.
Tony Robbins says it. Yeah, pivoting, and you have
pivoting.
You have to pivot, because we can all think that we're so great in just that one area, and maybe we are, but pivot to something else, try something else. It doesn't mean that you have to go and do that other thing full time, but we have to have other things in our life besides that one job that we're doing, and that's pivoting, that's rebalancing, that's looking at the bigger picture, and enjoying the best you can with the people that we have around, the circles you have around you. Always do it. Don't ever think you can't, and don't ever tell have somebody tell you can't do it either.
Absolutely. I mean, look at everything you had to overcome being in LA, and all the overcomes obstacles that said, you're not going to be a casting director, and you can't do it because you have central casting to compete with, or XYZ company down the street to compete with. And there's always a niche somewhere. There's always a need somewhere, and you've figured out how to fill that all out.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, and that is very, very true. And everybody's told that. And if you live in LA, you have to have a really thick skin. And it's not just Los Angeles. Like I said, it's all over the place now. If you're in this industry, you have to have a real thick skin, especially as a performer, and that's where you start out. But it really does come with anything you're doing in the industry or anything you're doing in life. You have to have a thick skin for, because whether it's in LA and you're not going to become a casting director, you're not going to become an actor, you're not going to be able to do this, you're not going to be able to do that, or in security, you're not going to be or construction, or a mailman, or a doctor. You're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to, but you do it. You do it because it's something passionate to you. So you do it, And you never, ever let anybody tell you that you can't. It's your life. Live your life. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, to add to that, I remember my dad telling me, "You're going to move it to L.A.?" "Yeah, Dad, there's nothing going on in Grants Pass, Oregon. Unless I'm going to be a lumberjack or work in the mill the rest of my life. Be a cop and make $20,000, $30,000 a year back then." I'm like, there's got to be something better. I'm like, you know what? I was scared. I mean, going to L.A. is like going back to boot camp in the Marine Corps all over again because it was culture shock. And I had this Oregon mind going down there, and I thought everybody was nice down there because everybody's nice in Oregon. I'm like, whoa. Like you said, thick skin. And my dad said, you can pay me enough to go down to Los Angeles. And I went down there and spent, 13 years, moved down there in 2008. And it was probably the best thing I could have done for my personal growth and my career growth, because all the contacts I had is because I took that leap of faith. I spread my wings, went down there, and a lot of things opened up, and a lot because of my Marine Corps background and, working in the bodyguard world, and like, oh, you're never going to make it. You're from Oregon. You're not strong enough. You're not tough enough. And sometimes you have to show the skeptics they're wrong. Sometimes you just got to prove the negative people wrong and just show by action they can pull it off. COVID-19, who cares? COVID-19, it's here. Yeah, you put the mask on, all that, but you cannot let you stop you, like you're saying, create content, become a podcaster, create movies, just create. Use your imagination. And I think a lot of people forgot how to do that because they're so stuck on their phone on figuring out who's been favoriting them on Facebook. Who cares?
No,
Time you had
right.
a conversation with them a year ago. It's like, come on.
You're right. You're right. It's getting out there and it's doing it. And it doesn't mean that you have to do it every day, but get out there and do it. I always tell actors and actresses that come to talk with me, and they come in from all over the world. I said, if you plan to go to the beach every day, and that's what you're here for, then you should just go to the beach for the next week and get back on a plane and go back to where you came from, because it's not going to work. You can't be in beautiful, sunny Southern California and go to the beach every day if you plan on making it in this industry. The entertainment industry is so difficult. But what I wanted to say, if I may, off of what you said, and you brought up your father, great man, and we know how our parents are. If those of us who were blessed enough to be close with our parents, you, myself, and so many others that I'm sure are listening and watching, parents are always gonna say various things, but they really just want the best for you. They want to make sure that you're happy, and sometimes they'll push you right into the lion's den, and other times they'll try to say, hey, this is what's going to happen. There's a big lion there. You got to watch out. But they're doing it from the kindness of their heart because they want their kids to be happy. And one other thing that I would say, I mean, you learning so much when you came to LA, me learning so much when I came out here, there are a lot of people that would like to do what you did, would like to do what I did, that are living maybe in Oregon and making that $30,000 a year, and they're just happy. They're happy doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful life. They might want to do what we're doing, but not everybody knows how, and not everybody knows how to put one foot in front of the other.
True. Very true. Sometimes the fear factor lays into it, and they just can't get over that invisible thing that's in their head. It's called fear. That's paper thin. Once you push your finger through that paper, it's no longer there.
That's exactly it, and that's what your show's about, and that's why I think it's so great how we just came around to that, because you're talking about, it's the fear factor, but it's also the mindset.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
If you don't have it completely in your mind of what you want to do and how you're going to do it and how you're going to command your mind to do it, then it's not going to happen. You could sit around and say, hey, I want to be an actor and I want to go to Los Angeles, but I'd rather have somebody else pull me in or hold my hand, or I'm going to wait because I'm so good where I live that somebody's going to want me. Well, Hollywood doesn't work that way. We don't go out to the various areas looking for talent. Talent comes here. Usually they could be the biggest fish in the sea wherever they're coming from, Mark. You know that. And they come out here, and unfortunately, they're a very, very small fish in a big ocean out here, or in New York, or other areas that are the hubs of the entertainment business. So you have to come out, you have to make it, you have to, in some cases people say you have to fake it till you make it. Well, at least do that, because you're not going to do it if you just sit around and you want it and you don't go anywhere and you don't try anything. And so it is a mindset, and you've got to get over the fear.
Yeah, that was, I had so many people in Oregon before I took off to down there tell me, "Are you crazy? You can pay me enough to go back down there." And that's all I heard. And from a lot of good friends, and some good friends that, yeah, you could probably pull it off. And I went down there, and I kid you not, it was hard. I was, renting and trying to figure out what I was doing, who was nice, who was a foe, who had my best interest in mind, because most people don't. And in Oregon, everybody wants to help each other out. Southern California, it's a different culture. And so you just got to find out who to associate with. You got to go networking. I think networking was the biggest thing, the strongest thing I could have ever done for myself in my profession, is just networking. Like, go to different parties and stuff where you get producers having parties and get invites. And that's where you meet people that make decisions. And you just got to put yourself out there. Yeah, rejection. But look at how many times Michael Jordan was rejected before he became a 6-time NBA championship with the Bulls. And it's just part of life. Failure is part of life. And if you're not afraid to fail, you'll go far.
Oh, couldn't agree more. That's and bringing up Michael, what a perfect example. And it's really, you have to work at it. Every single day you have to spend at least 2 hours a day at working on your craft. And whether it be an actor, because you are your own tool, or somebody else doing something else, you have to work at it. I always say Rome wasn't built in a day. And so, you have to go with that now too. You have to work at it. You have to make the best of what you have, put it out there. You may not get to all the heights that you want to. You may not get up to the top of the ladder, but at least you'll be on the ladder. You'll be somewhere. You'll be doing something, and that's really important, because you're taking that leap. You're getting fear out of your head, and you are, you have to have that mindset to do the things that are important to you. If they're important to you, make it happen.
Exactly. Great. Yeah, that's some great advice. I didn't know it would be the motivational fear factor podcast. It turned out pretty good.
Yeah. It should.
Any other advice you can offer anybody? Anything come to your mind?
What I would say is, and I know you've got a very mixed, eclectic audience. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think, if you're talking about the industry, which today I'm just thrilled to be your guest, but when you're talking about the entertainment industry, I've been in it for a long time. I've done everything pretty much on my own. My advice to anybody who is thinking about coming out to Los Angeles, or like I said, going to New York, or going to a hub city, whether it's Atlanta, New Mexico, Chicago, there's work for you. Just, go in there with your guns blazing, meaning that, you should have at least some sort of decent, maybe headshot. If you don't have a headshot, talk to people, get a headshot. You don't need to be paying thousands and thousands of dollars for headshots. Also, just stay away from scams, and because there's a lot of scams all over the place, and don't ever allow anybody to tell you, and this is a mindset thing too, don't ever let anybody tell you you're not going to make it because You're not paying me a certain amount of money to get headshots, or you're not going to see the person that I want you to. You're never going to make it in this industry. Don't ever let anybody tell you that. There's a lot of scams out there, a lot of scam agents, and this has something to do with security too. I mean, really, we have to watch. There's a lot of people out there that will take advantage of you. It doesn't matter what business you're in, but for me, it's come down to, I try to help people. I try to let them know to just have your eyes open. Women, don't go to a session, a photo session by yourself in somebody's house. Don't do it. Just don't do it. And other things too. Just, make sure that you ask people and you ask around and you call the Better Business Bureau and you call the union. Even if you're not union, call the union and find out about projects that are being made around you, and make sure that you have you have the skills, the mindset to go into it doing it the right way, because there's a lot of people out there that will try to use you and abuse you, and you got to be strong when it happens. Anybody now can make up a card on the internet saying they're a producer.
True.
Check them out. Make sure that you don't get all excited. Oh my God, this guy or this gal, she approached me and she wants me to be in her movie. Check them out. Do it right. Take a friend.
Make sure you vet them.
Just be really careful.
Yeah, I can remember being invited to different parties in LA because of the security connections that I had, and people, I'm a producer XYZ, and you look them up, never heard of them, not even IMBD. So I'm like, what's the real motive here? So yeah, ladies, you gotta be careful. I know if you're coming from the Midwest, you want to be an upcoming star actress. Just make sure you do your research and due diligence, because there's some animals out there. They're not nice. And, every city's got good people and bad people. You just got to protect yourself, like Jeff's saying. But great advice. That's how the industry is, and that big cities have their share of good and bad.
Big and small. And Mark, if I just may mention one other thing on that, it's not just the women. It's women, it's guys, but it's also parents of kids. That is really, really important. I stress this for any of the parents that are watching that want to get your kids into the movie or television industry. Be careful, because there's a lot of people out there that will, take advantage of parents that have kids because they don't know better. So be careful, and if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Right. Good point. Great point. Yeah, we're going to have to do a sequel to this episode, because we covered a lot of stuff. We can still keep going. I know we're probably hitting the hour, and this was supposed to go like 30 minutes. So, oops.
Sorry, I talked a little bit too much.
But we have some great content. We talked about a lot of different things. And, I'll definitely have to have you on when you get closer to launching that new project. Whenever is that 6 months away?
Yeah, there's a couple different ones that are going, but I'll keep you up to date on it, and I'd love to be on anytime you think it's good for you and your audience.
Awesome. Well, thanks for scratching your time out today for the podcast, and I think I ran out of things to talk about. So
never. All right. Thanks, Mark. I really appreciate you. Continue the good work. And, I applaud you and your show and all of your guests.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, you bet.
Appreciate your time.
All right. Bye, everybody.